Chosen one, this message didn't find you by mistake. You didn't just stumble on this. You were led here. This is divine timing, a spiritual nudge, because deep inside you, there's a discipline waiting to awaken, a version of you that only rises when the world still sleeps. God has been calling you, not louder but earlier, and now is the moment to answer. The 5 a.m. hour isn't just quiet, it's holy, it's powerful, it's for the chosen. Have you ever wondered why your spirit wakes up early before the world does? That's not a coincidence. There's a spiritual code hidden in the early morning, a divine appointment, a secret place where the noise of the world hasn't yet woken up. But God is already speaking. Most people sleep through it, but not you. You've been feeling the nudge to wake up earlier, to pray deeper, to align higher. Because 5 a.m. isn't just a time, it's a calling. For the next 7 days, you're about to walk into something powerful, and by the end of it, you won't just feel better, you'll be spiritually unlocked. Let's break it down day by day and see what happens when a chosen one rises early. Before we begin, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe, because this message is for the chosen ones ready to rise early, break through spiritually, and unlock the blessings heaven's been holding for them. If something inside you feels this is your moment, drop the number 77 in the comments. It's not just a number. It's a spiritual signal that you're aligned, awakened, and ready to meet God in the secret hour. Only the truly chosen will stay until the end. And those who do will walk away with clarity, discipline, peace, and supernatural power. This message holds layers of revelation. Revisit it as often as your soul needs, because every listen will activate a deeper part of your purpose. Now let's begin. Your 5 a.m. miracle is waiting. Day 1. Silence before the storm. It's 5 a.m. The world hasn't started moving yet. No phones buzzing, no cars honking, no news updates, no demands, no expectations. The world is still asleep, but you're not. You're awake, and you've stepped into something sacred that most people miss. This is where it all begins. You're not just waking up early. You're waking up on purpose. And in this moment, the silence isn't awkward, it's alive. It's filled with meaning. It's where God meets you in the stillness before the storm of life starts spinning again. This time isn't about being productive or checking things off a list. It's about breathing, listening, sitting with yourself and with God, without rushing to figure everything out. You don't need a script. You don't need the perfect prayer. You don't even need to say much at all. Just sit. Let the quiet speak to you. Let your heart settle. Let your thoughts slow down. Let your spirit open to something deeper, because something powerful happens when you stop running and start receiving. The stress that's been sitting on your chest begins to loosen. The questions that have been keeping you up at night don't seem as heavy, and slowly, you start to feel something you haven't felt in a long time. Peace. Real peace. The kind that doesn't depend on everything being perfect. The kind that comes when your soul finally finds room to breathe. That's what happens at 5 a.m., not because of the hour, but because of the decision. The decision to seek stillness before you face the storm. The decision to connect before you confront the chaos. The decision to feed your soul before the world starts to drain it. Most people will hit snooze and sleep through this moment. They'll wake up already behind, already anxious, already scattered, but not you. You woke up with intention. You chose silence over noise, presence over pressure, God over the grind. And that decision, it's already changing you. You may not see the results yet, but something inside you is shifting. You're training your spirit to lead instead of follow. You're remembering who you are before the world tries to tell you. This time of stillness may feel small now, but it will shape how you carry yourself through everything that follows. You'll respond with more grace. You'll move with more peace. You'll walk through storms that used to break you, and you'll stay grounded. This is just day one, but it's the most important step. You showed up. You said yes to the silence. You made space for God to speak. And that's more than most ever do. Stay here for a few more minutes. Breathe deeply. Thank God for today. And remember, the most powerful people in the world aren't always the loudest. Sometimes they're the quiet ones who rise early and let heaven lead. The storm may still come, but now you're ready. Day 2. Reconnecting with your purpose. The stillness of day 1 did something important. Day 2. Reconnecting with your purpose. The stillness of day 1 did something important. It made space. Space in your mind, space in your spirit. Space that the noise of everyday life had pushed out long ago. And now, on day 2, with that space open, something powerful begins to return. Vision. Clarity doesn't always rush in all at once. It comes slowly like the sun rising. Soft at first, but sure. And in this morning stillness, you begin to feel the pieces coming back together. You're not rushing into the day like before. You're not being pulled in 100 directions. You're showing up early, in quiet, before the world starts pulling on you again. And in this space, God begins to whisper things you haven't thought about in years. Dreams that once made your heart beat faster. Ideas you pushed away because they seemed too big. Talents you buried because someone made you feel small. Callings you ignored because life got loud or heavy or painful. But now you feel them again. This morning, take time to write. Not with pressure or perfection, but with honesty. Grab a notebook or open a note on your phone and just begin. Write what comes to mind. Not just what you think, but what you feel. What God may be placing on your heart right now. This isn't just journaling, it's divine downloading. You're not creating from scratch. You're uncovering what was always inside you. Your purpose was never lost. It was just buried under noise, fear, and survival. But now, in this early hour, it's rising again. And maybe you don't know the full picture yet. That's okay. Just name what you do know. Start small. Start simple. Write down the dreams that won't leave you alone. The things that make you feel alive. The whispers that keep returning every time you slow down. These aren't random thoughts. They're reminders. God hasn't forgotten who you are, and He's calling you to remember too. Chosen one, this is where the breakthrough begins, because when you remember who you are, everything else begins to shift. The way you walk, the way you speak, the way you respond to fear. It all changes. This is not the time to dismiss what's stirring inside you. It's the time to lean in, to be brave, to pick up the pieces of your purpose, and trust that God can still build something beautiful out of it. At 5 a.m., heaven speaks louder because there's finally space to hear. So today, write it down, pray over it, sit with it. Don't rush to make it happen. Just be open. You're not who the world tried to reduce you to. You're more. You've always been more. And today, you're beginning to remember. This is only day 2, but it already feels like something deep has been unlocked. Day 3, spiritual training begins. Let's be honest, waking up early isn't easy. The excitement of day 1 fades. The clarity of day 2 starts to get challenged. By day 3, the resistance kicks in. Your bed feels warmer. Your body feels heavier. Your mind whispers excuses, and everything in you wants to hit snooze, pull the covers over your head, and stay asleep just a little longer. But this is the turning point. This is where the real shift begins, because discipline isn't supposed to be easy. It's meant to shape you. This is where training begins. You're not just waking up at 5 a.m. to be productive. You're not doing this to impress anyone. You're doing this to train your spirit, to build spiritual muscle, focus, and endurance. The kind you're going to need for the battles ahead. The kind that separates the average from the anointed. Even Jesus, the Son of God, rose early to pray. Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Mark 1:35. King David said it with boldness, "Early will I seek you." He knew something we often forget. The early hours belong to God. They're sacred, strategic, and powerful, not just because of the quiet, but because of the access. Heaven honors discipline. When you push past your feelings to seek God first, you're showing that your spirit leads, not your emotions, not your comfort, not your convenience. And that's rare. Most people follow their flesh. They only show up when it's easy. They only commit when it's convenient. But the chosen ones, they train when no one's watching. They rise when others sleep. They fight through fatigue because they know what's on the line. Destiny, purpose, legacy. Day 3 is where your flesh protests, but your spirit pushes through. You're not just building a habit. Day 4. Divine downloads and direction. Today, pay attention. The stillness you've been cultivating over the past few mornings is doing more than clearing your mind. It's opening your spirit. And now, on day 4, something sacred begins to happen. Clarity starts to flow. God begins to speak more clearly, consumed in the early hours, not just about your day, but about your destiny. You'll notice it in subtle ways. A thought that feels too wise to be your own, a name that gently presses on your heart, an idea that lights something up in your spirit. It doesn't feel forced, it just feels right. That idea that just popped into your head, that person you suddenly feel led to check on, that gentle nudge to go somewhere, try something, or let something go. Those are not random. That's heaven speaking. That's direction being downloaded. When you wake up early, when you seek God first, you position yourself to hear Him more clearly. It's not that God wasn't speaking before, it's that the world was too loud, the distractions too constant, the noise too overwhelming. But now, at 5 a.m., with your phone still on silent and your heart still open, you've created room for heaven to move. And when heaven moves, revelation flows. Sometimes it's not even a voice. It's a knowing, a deep, quiet confidence that you're in the right place, doing the right thing, becoming who you're meant to be. It's the kind of clarity that silences doubt, the kind that helps you release what no longer serves you and lean into what God has actually been preparing all along. Many people wander through life without direction. They chase trends, follow crowds, and live in cycles of confusion, not because they're unintelligent, but because they've never created space to be guided. And when you're not guided by heaven, you're pulled by everything else. Opinions, pressure, fear, urgency. But you, chosen one, you've chosen alignment. You've chosen to meet God in the early hours, to receive before you react, to listen before you lead, to align before you act. This is the difference between movement and divinely led momentum. Don't rush these mornings. Don't brush off the small impressions. Write them down. Sit with them. Pray over them. Even if they don't make full sense yet, they are breadcrumbs to your purpose. God rarely gives the full picture all at once. He gives pieces, and He watches to see if we'll follow faithfully. Today, be sensitive. The Holy Spirit doesn't shout, He whispers. And in this sacred stillness, that whisper becomes unmistakable. This is the beginning of supernatural guidance, not through signs in the sky, but through peace in your spirit. Not through drama and chaos, but through calm and conviction. You're not just being productive, you're being positioned. God is ordering your steps. You're no longer living by default. You're living by design. You're no longer guessing. You're guided. and that guidance will take you farther than hustle ever could. This is the fruit of showing up at 5 a.m. This is what happens when heaven has space to speak. You're not just starting your day, you're stepping into destiny. Stay open, stay ready, stay aligned, because divine direction has begun. Day 5. Peace in the midst of pressure. By day 5, something strange happens. You've been waking up early, committing to the stillness and seeking God first. But now there's a noticeable shift. Even though your life might still be busy, chaotic, or full of tasks, you feel more peace. Why? Because you stopped letting the world dictate your mood. You stopped letting your phone, emails, or social media tell you how to feel. You stopped rushing through life like everything depends on you. You've learned to receive instead of constantly giving or reacting. And here's the truth. Peace is not the absence of problems. It's the presence of God. The world will try to tell you that peace means no pressure, no challenges, no stress. But in reality, peace isn't about a problem-free life. It's about having God's presence in the middle of the pressure. It's about finding calm in the storm because you know you're not facing it alone. Every 5 a.m. that you've shown up, you've stepped into that presence. You've positioned yourself to receive divine peace before the battle even begins. The morning becomes a sanctuary where God fills you up with His peace, the kind that surpasses understanding. And that peace doesn't wait until your day is perfect. It's not waiting for the perfect circumstances. It's available to you right now, right in the middle of your busy life. What you've been learning over the past few days is that peace doesn't come from external quiet. It's not about a lack of noise, a lack of challenges, or a lack of drama. Instead, on day 5, you've begun to build spiritual strength. Every morning, you're showing up, not just to pray or meditate, but to receive from God. This is where your foundation of peace is being laid. You're learning that peace is a weapon that stands strong in the midst of chaos. It keeps you steady when the world is shaking. It gives you clarity when everything around you is unclear. It guards your mind when fear and anxiety try to take over. And here's something powerful. When you show up early and make this time with God a priority, the peace you receive in those sacred moments starts to flow through the rest of your day. It spills into your conversations, your decisions, and your reactions. Suddenly, you can handle stress better. You can respond with grace instead of frustration. You find yourself breathing deeply instead of spiraling in worry. This is where your spiritual muscles are strengthened. Just like a runner trains by pushing through physical discomfort, you're training your spirit to stay grounded in peace, no matter the circumstances. Day 5 is where the foundation of your spiritual strength begins to show its fruit. You may not have all the answers yet, and life may still be hectic, but you've learned the secret. When you start your day with God, when you choose to be still and receive His presence first, nothing can shake your peace. It's not about avoiding the storms. It's about having the strength to face them without losing your calm. Because with God, the storms become smaller, the pressure becomes lighter, and His presence becomes your refuge. So on day 5, celebrate this. Celebrate the peace that surpasses understanding. Celebrate the strength that comes from walking in God's presence before the world gets loud. And know this, your peace will not just carry you through the day, it will carry you through every challenge that comes your way. This is just the beginning. Day 6. The breakthrough begins. You may cry today or laugh or feel a sudden release. Whatever it is, know this. It's not random as a sea. Something is breaking open in the spirit. You've been showing up every day, giving your time, giving your heart, and giving your focus. You've been pressing through when it wasn't easy, choosing discipline over comfort, and surrendering your will to God's plan. Now the fruit of that consistency begins to show itself. Something in your spirit is shifting, It's like a dam breaking, and suddenly the floodgates open. Chains you couldn't shake off before, they're falling now. Habits that had you bound for years, they're slipping away. Mindsets that held you hostage, limiting your potential, trapping you in cycles of fear and doubt, they're starting to break apart piece by piece. And you're not just witnessing it from a distance, you're living the breakthrough. Why? Because consistency invites breakthrough. You've been showing up day after day, and that consistency is now producing results. What you've been building in the unseen, the small, quiet moments of surrender, is now becoming visible. Heaven honors your persistence. It sees your hunger, your heart, and your desire to press forward, no matter the obstacles. This is what happens when a chosen one shows God, "I'm serious about this." Your willingness to commit to something bigger than yourself, to show up even when it's hard, is causing the spiritual realms to respond. Heaven does not ignore hunger. When you demonstrate your faithfulness, when you refuse to back down and press through the challenges, it stirs something in the spirit realm. Heaven responds to hunger. God is not just looking for perfect people. He's looking for those who are willing to pursue Him with a passionate, unshakable desire. And you, chosen one, are showing Him that desire. You're proving that you're willing to take that extra step, to do the hard work of transformation. And because of that, your breakthrough is on the way. You may feel emotions stirring within you today, and that's okay. Crying or laughing, feeling joy or release, it's all part of the process. These emotions are not signs of weakness. They're signs of healing. They're the manifestation of something deep within you being set free. Chains of doubt are breaking. Fears are falling away. The strongholds that once had power over you are being uprooted. And the best part? This is just the beginning. You've been sowing seeds of faith, consistency, and obedience. Now the harvest is coming. You're walking into a season where the struggles that once held you back no longer have power over you. Your consistency has paved the way for spiritual elevation. You've been laying the groundwork for breakthrough, not just in small areas, but in every area. You may not see the full picture yet, but know this: the breakthrough has already started. The breakthrough isn't just about what's happening on the outside. It's about what's happening in your heart, in your spirit. God is aligning your inner world to match His vision for your life. The walls that once seemed impossible to overcome, they're coming down. The doubts that used to plague your mind, they're being replaced with peace and confidence. The strongholds that kept you from stepping into your calling, they're being broken piece by piece. Day 7. Blessings begin to manifest. On day 7, everything feels different. It's like the fog that clouded your vision has lifted, and now you're walking in clarity. You've spent the last week consistently showing up, and it's paying off. You've created a new rhythm, a new routine, and it's not just physical. Your spirit is alert. Your heart is open. Your mind is clearer than it's been in months. You've been cultivating a sacred space in the early morning hours, and now that space is starting to bear fruit. You're no longer just going through the motions. You're actively participating in your own transformation, and it shows. At first, it may have felt like a struggle. You may have questioned whether waking up so early was worth it, whether your efforts were truly making a difference. But today, you can feel it. Things are starting to move in the natural. Blessings are beginning to manifest. You might notice unexpected opportunities, a chance meeting with someone who changes everything, an invitation that opens the door to a new chapter. Divine connections start to flow into your life. People you've been praying for start to appear, not by chance, but because you've aligned your spirit and your schedule to the will of God. And then there's the sudden favor. It feels almost like a wave that's sweeping over you. You're being noticed. Doors are opening that once seemed shut. Things are falling into place without you having to force them. This isn't coincidence. This is manifestation, the tangible, visible result of your spiritual alignment. The truth is, blessings don't just show up out of nowhere. They're the natural consequence of alignment. When you align your life with heaven, when you intentionally make space for God to move in your day, everything around you begins to align with His will. And when that happens, favor follows. Opportunities unfold. What you're experiencing on day 7 isn't magic. It's the fruit of consistent effort and divine alignment. You've shown heaven that you are ready to receive what He has for you. You've proven that you are serious about your purpose, serious about your growth, and serious about walking in God's plan for your life. Now, the blessing isn't just about the material things that are coming to you, the promotions, the recognition, the connections. It's not just about external rewards. The true blessing is in who you've become. You are no longer the same person you were when you started this journey. You've been transformed from the inside out. The clarity you're walking in isn't just clarity for your schedule, it's clarity for your life. You've learned to listen more closely to God's voice, to trust in His timing, and to move forward with confidence. On day 7, you're no longer just hoping for blessings. You're positioned for them. You've created the space, and now the blessings are pouring in. The blessing isn't just what's coming to you, it's who you've become. And who you've become is someone who walks with God, aligned with His purpose, ready to receive all that He has for you. So celebrate today. Celebrate the blessings, the favor, and the transformation that's happening in your life. But also celebrate the person you are becoming, the person who is stepping into the fullness of God's promises.